Hello, I am going to teach you some Photoshop tricks tonight. This is for Fast Track week 10 through 11 for our homework. So I hope it helps you to begin to understand some of the basics in Photoshop. We will learn about the layers, saving a project, begin using the layers, and then making some use of the tools on the side. So the first thing I like to begin to do is go through and just point to a few things that are in the program. Now across the top here where we have all of these handy little things, that is our menu bar. And I will go there to do most of what I need to do when I switch between the windows. Down here on this vertical bar, this is all of the tools that we can implement. Now, each little tool has another, it's like a little arrow, and you can drag it and open it so that you can choose which tool that you would like to use. So as I go through, I will name the tools, and hopefully you will start to pick up on where they are. And the reason for that is that when you go online and you search, let's say you want to do a frame or something around your picture, or you want to add in an element that you've never added before, they're not going to tell you what the names of the tools are. They're not going to go through this menu bar and explain why you would use, this layer window with all the things on, or how to use these selections. That's what I'm going to show you. So they assume that you know that, and I hope that by the time we get done here, you will know that. Okay, so the first thing, I made this in Photoshop, and it is a part of a bigger piece. And here's the bigger piece. This is a banner for Facebook. It is just an ad that we can put on Facebook to promote Kingdom Builders. I'm going to show you how to make this all the way through, what to do with the text, how to arrange these layers, how to erase some things. This was solid white in between the strings, how to get rid of that, how to go and grab an image and place it, all of those things. So then what I did after I made this, I shut off my layers and I cut this. And then I kept just this left side, and I ended up with another piece. So that kept me from having to do too many things. I reused some of my lettering, and I just cut down on the amount of work I had to do. We will also go over how to do a picture. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the layers. I'm going to show you that this is the layer box over here. There are a lot of different boxes that you can open. You get those from the window, and they're the ones that are checked off. So there's layers, and we have the styles. And the reason I don't open all of these because I don't use them on a regular basis. But if you're missing your layer box, this is where you get it. You go up to the window and you get your layer box. Now, everything that we do, we make adjustments in this main window. It's our workspace. But you'll see it happen over in the layers. And then every time we click on a layer, it activates that layer. We can also turn off a layer with the eye so you don't see it. Now, I will explain how layers work just a little bit better as we go through. So the first thing I think is important is to open the project. Now, if you're online, your window is going to look a little bit different than mine. This is light gray. I have Creative Suites 4, so I have Photoshop CS4, but you are working in Photoshop CC, which is the Creative Cloud, if you bought the $10 a month or one of the packages online with the Lightroom. Lightroom is completely separate. It's for doing editing to your photos that you've already taken. That's not what we're doing tonight. We're creating something from scratch. So your window looks a little bit different, and that doesn't matter because everything that you need for the basics, I'm going to be able to show you tonight. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to save File, Open, and I'm going to show you that when you have a Photoshop that's saved, I think this is important to show you, this is my file. That file is this right here, and it's got all of its layers in its entirety. So I can come back in here and change it. This next to it is a picture. It is a completed piece that I cannot render. I cannot do anything to this anymore. So I have to keep my file and I have to keep my picture. I'm going to show you 3 ways to save a picture because that's very important. Now, we've opened up our Photoshop and we are going to start a new project. I know that to make a banner, Facebook requires 851 pixels wide by 315 pixels in height. I can change this by clicking the drop down arrow. Sometimes it might come up as in inches. Maybe you're working on a project that you want 5 by 7. When you finish, you want to complete it 5 by 7. This is where you would decide all of that right now at the very beginning. So I'm going to call this banner because that's what it's going to be. Now, the next thing to consider is my resolution. If I'm going to print it, I want a higher resolution, 300 or more. I think for a Facebook banner, we could get away with 150 to 200, but if you have a picture, you're going to want higher resolution. So you're going to want to stay in the 200 range. When I save this, it will also reduce the resolution, and I'll show you that later. So I'm just going to leave it where it is. The background, you're going to see I can have white, a color, any color, which I'll show you how to do, or transparent. We're going to start with transparent because that's the checkerboard. And that means that anything I put on here, I will be able to see through it, and I can save this as a PNG, which is a portable network graphic. And that is important because if you lay your picture, anything that you make on a PNG, you lay it over something in your website, it will let you see what's underneath it in your background. So you may need that for your website. So this is our first layer. Layers are a stacking process, okay? They stack on top of each other so that we can work with them individually. I'm going to show you how to bring in a picture. So when I bring something in, I go down here to place. I believe in the Creative Cloud, it will say place linking. I think that's what it says. So, but it's place. So we're going to place something. And what that does is it puts it right into our document. If I were to just open it, it would go along this bar and I would have to do something else to bring it in. And I can show you that as well. We're just going to go ahead and place this in here. I know it will fit because it was made from this exact size to begin with. So whenever these lines are across here, that means I have my controls available to me. I won't be able to do anything to this layer, which is here. It came in on the layer that was sitting there. This is a picture completed. I won't be able to do anything to it. I don't have any layers. This is a very important button right here. This is your selection tool or the move tool, it says. But whatever, when you click it, whatever you have it on is your selection. So I can now move this and I can use my toggle buttons and I can control this. To get off of this, I need to accept my changes by clicking that, and then that frees it up and I can move on to another layer. Right now, this has a mask on it that prevents me from editing it, and I'm going to show you in the next video how to get that off of there. This is bigger than I need it to be, but for the purposes of this video, I wanted to show you how to bring in a picture. So now if I want to save this, I would do it in 2 ways. I will save as, and then I will keep it, my banner. I will save it. Now, do you see how it says PSD? That means I'm saving it like this file with all of its layers intact. If I save it for the web, I'm choosing to reduce its file size so that it will give me the optimum loading you don't want your website to be dragged down by a bunch of pictures that are gigantic, and especially if you have a blog, and then everybody's just sitting there waiting for it to load. This little hand allows me to move my picture over so I can see the quality went down right here. So if I pick the original, I know it's going to take a minute. It could possibly take a minute to load. It probably wouldn't. Depends on your server. 23 seconds, that's pretty good. This one's going to load really fast. But if I was going to use this for Facebook, it wouldn't be a concern because it would go up on their server, not mine. So I would choose PNG, see the background, transparent. I would choose that. Here's my final size, and I save it.